Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to 30 to Life. It's your boy Uso Ron, and I wanted to talk to you about the rapper Cutty Banks. So basically what happened, the suspect in this case approached Cutty Banks in the parking lot and began firing shots. Cutty Banks tried to run and ended up falling at the steps at the entrance in front of the bank. He ended up dying from multiple gunshot wounds. The suspect who did this, he ended up fleeing in a white Mercedes-Benz, which was key to the investigation for police. It wasn't hard for police to track the Mercedes back to Los Angeles, California, which was hidden in a parking garage. Police were able to obtain some camera footage and see the suspect using a cell phone waiting outside for someone to pick him up. They were able to ping his phone and find his location where he was at. Later on, they arrested him for the murder of Cutty Banks. The whole thing about this case, for one, the suspect who did this, Isaiah Rubena, believed that Cutty Banks was responsible for the murder of his little brother. And the reason he believed that is because his little brother's girlfriend is the one that pointed out Cutty Banks as the one who did it. But from what I understand, it was a case of mistaken identity. And Isaiah, thinking that his little brother was murdered by Cutty Banks, drives up to Northern California and ultimately murders the rapper Cutty Banks. From what I understand, they arrested the female as well. And this is just my opinion, y'all, but I think she's responsible for this whole thing because she's the one that went and did this little amateur investigation and got Cutty Banks killed. Look, I'm not saying that this dude Isaiah is an innocent person in this case, but if she didn't do this little investigation and tell him that it was Cutty Banks responsible for his brother's murder, then this would have never happened. And Isaiah definitely shouldn't have took her word for it. It's unfortunate that an innocent person lost their life, a case of mistaken identity. It should have never happened, but there's a lot we can learn from this shit. And one of the things that really bothered me about this whole case is the fact that it's Samoan and Samoan, you know what I'm saying? Isaiah was Samoan and same with Cutty Banks. And so basically, you know, me being of Samoan descent, I'm always against us killing each other like this. It just never made sense to me. But this is what happens when you're caught up in that life. Unfortunately, Cutty Banks was an innocent bystander in this whole thing and was ultimately killed. Now, what happens next though? And it's what I talk to you guys about all the fucking time. Isaiah is gonna go to prison, okay? And y'all always ask me what happens when you go to prison. Well, depending on what Isaiah does, I don't know what he's involved in. I don't know if he's involved with a gang or whatever, but usually the Usos, the Samoans, go with their people when they go to prison. And how shit works in there is this, man. A lot of y'all think that Isaiah is gonna get his while he's in the penitentiary. That I don't know, but I will tell you this, and I've told you guys this before. It never made sense to me, y'all going around killing each other, because when you go to the penitentiary, we stick with one another. Doesn't matter what gang you from or what city you from, we stick with one another. And the thing about the penitentiary is street business is street business and penitentiary business is penitentiary business. So Isaiah, if he's going in as a Samoan with the Uso car, with the Islanders and the Asians, pretty much that street beef stays on the street. That's how we function in there. That's how most cars function in California prison. So there really isn't gonna be nobody that's gonna really do anything to Isaiah. Now, if Isaiah goes in as a gang member with the Crips or the Bloods or whatever, and he runs with another race, you know, then I don't know what will happen, and you know, that's not my business. But as I told you guys before, within our car, with the Samoans and the Asians, you gonna let that shit go. That's just how it works. I told y'all the story about two Asian homies. One was in there for killing another Asian homie's brother. And man, of course, one wanted to kill the other, right? In the penitentiary. They ended up hitting the same yard that I was on. So the only thing we allowed these two to do is catch a fade with one another. When that wasn't able to solve the issue, and the homie still wanted to go there and try to kill him, we had to separate them. We had to move one homie to the other yard and keep them separated. That's just how it goes in there. That street beef shit stays on the streets. It don't mean nothing to prison politics. Y'all gotta understand that. It's unfortunate that Cutty Banks was gunned down in this manner, and especially by his own people. You know, it's something that I personally frown down upon, but if I was in the penitentiary, there's nothing I can say except for the fact that you out there killing our people, and here you are riding with us. You know what I'm saying? It's a lesson that we all have to learn when we're involved with bullshit like this. You know, going in the penitentiary, you suddenly woke to knowing that you shouldn't have been acting like this towards your own folks, or just acting like this period on the streets. You know what I'm saying? So it's not worth it, guys. I tell you this all the fucking time. You know what it is, man. Stay the fuck out of trouble.